ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 333, question mark, of the Zombie Train. I need to check. Just give me a second. I think it's 333. I know it ends with a 3. I know we're in the 300s. This is a route review of the first module that was submitted for the Iron Horseman Modular Railroad, so that makes me excited. So excited, in fact, that I forgot what episode it was. Okay, yeah, it was 333. Alright. I knew it. This week, we are reviewing the Vocane River module by Captain Tank Traincraft. And with me, to help me settle some scores, literally, is our very own TBA, or Evangeline.
Hello.
Hello.
The Wyvern is here.
Hopefully, we'll get a module out of you someday. But today, we've got this. We're going to review the actual module as it was submitted, and then I will go and I'll show everyone what I did to bring it into the modular railroad, to just spruce it up and everything. So, for those who are unfamiliar or those who do not remember, the route reviews go on a scale of 1 to 100. That is 10 categories of 10 points apiece. The categories are as follows. As soon as I finish this, there we go. The categories are as follows: creativity, operations, track work, scenery, content, size, time, stock/era, world, and a bonus category. So, I will be reviewing these routes based on the same criteria that I review all other routes, which in some respects may be unfair to them, and I understand that, but it also allows me to do some things that I otherwise don't do for the actual full route reviews, like size and time and even content in some cases. So, but first off, I want to start with an overview of this. Now, we have a railroad crossing here that is missing the road, because the road apparently is payware. So, that is a problem, and that's going to be reflected in the score.
Oof.
And so it runs from here. This is our connection to the rest of the world. Of course, it's fine that there are no portals, because it is a module, and it goes to the other, and it connects to the rest of the modular railroad. We have a Y here with a small 5-track yard, and a single track in here, I guess for drop-offs. And a small industry, which, according to the spreadsheet, is for goods. I had to adjust it because there is no actual industry there, and that will be reflected in the score. One of the nice things that I did notice is that there are 2 different kinds of track being used. One for the main line and one for the sidings. I very much appreciate that. And then the main line continues down this way. That's an obnoxiously long single stretch of track that's not recommended, across this bridge and this relatively nice and realistic enough looking river.
Yeah, the river actually looks pretty good.
Yeah. And then there's a set of crossovers down here with the only signals on the railroad, which are these G-styles. They are named, though, so that's nice.
That is nice. And also the switches are named there.
The switches are named. They have these cool little switch motors, which I hadn't seen before.
Dispatch-controlled switches.
Yeah. And also, I believe the tracks are straightened properly, so that's a point for him, I guess.
Yep, there you go.
Let me just zoom back over here. It was the beginnings of an attempt to do grass, and the fences. I'm not sure this is exactly the kind of fence you would see, but whatever. We're going to take it from the top.
That's a thing.
Starting with creativity. Now, creativity, of course, just like everything else, is 1 to 10. And because
that's going to be tricky.
Yeah, because
it's a module.
Yeah, because this is a module. You know, normally if it was like, this is submitted as a route, then there's really not much to it. You know, there's a small industry, there is a stretch of main line, and that's really it. But because this is being submitted as a module, we can look at it a little bit differently. The fact that it isn't just mainline indicates something, but the fact that it isn't a module completely dedicated to an industry that's good. There's a balance here. The fact that we've got a water feature, I think, is good. The fact that the terrain is more than flat. You know? That we've got some landscaping. Even if it's not the best landscaping, it's here.
So, and the density of the forest is really what's making it look good for me right now.
Yeah, the density of the forest, I will admit, is kind of absurd, though. I actually had to turn down my graphics for this one. And I don't have...
Oh. It is crazy, though.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no underbrush, shrubbery, stuff like that. Also,
Holy mackerel.
My Discord is having a little bit of an aneurysm with your voice because I'm stressing my computer out. But that's okay. You know what? Let's do this real quick. Let's just turn this down a little bit. Because on Tolbrand I run with 3000. And so that might make my life a little bit easier. So, for creativity, I'm thinking... No, there's nothing here that's really groundbreaking. I will say that. I've said a lot of good things, so let's get to the bad things. Now, Milky decided to join us. We're reviewing Captain Tank Traincraft's route.
Okay.
Or module, I guess. And we're right at the beginning, we're doing the creativity. So, I named a couple of things that I like about it. Some things that I don't like about it are the fact that it is a relatively bland module. And there's... I don't know, it's missing a lot, but that's really just in the scenery department, you know? I don't think there is much to lose here in terms of creativity without making it bigger, and I think it's a good size. So...
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a couple of other buildings over here, a couple more things scattered around, but the ground scatter itself is fine. And he even did this with the different textures to give us, you know, like there's a manhole cover and some random cracking. This isn't just a simple spun texture. There was actually a lot of thought into this. So,
Yeah.
So, on second thought, I don't have a lot bad to say about it on the creativity side. What do you guys think?
The creativity, it is clever. You know, it's a clever little module. The industry, well, it'll be a common industry along in the modular route. And it is the first one, so I gotta give props. You know,
I'm gonna give him a bonus point for that when we come around to it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Also, with this being the first one, I guess this could set perhaps a goal or something. I don't know. I'm not.
You have no strong feelings. Yeah.
No, I can't word it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
I'm in there, it's fine.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
it really isn't.
I'm bouncing between a 7 and an 8. An 8 seems kind of high because it is a fairly simple module. But...
I'd give it a 7 for creativity.
But the only thing that I can take away, is I don't think there are enough buildings and things. You know, it's a very plain module for the most part. And also everything is in a dead straight line. There's no... it doesn't zigzag at all. I don't know. That's my one negative thing about it. The fact that we've got some hills here, you wouldn't get a dead straight valley like this in reality, so.
No, that's true. Also, another thing that brings it down for me is the distance between the tracks and the edge of the world. We need more tile.
More scenery.
There on the...
Yeah. At least he brought it out for the river here. When you're actually going to be looking away from the tracks, you have a little distance to look in. Something that's a good idea for future, though, is if you're doing a river, provide a bend in the river so that you're still not looking off the edge of the world.
Yeah.
Rivers also don't tend to go this straight. But,
alright. Needs more grass.
Yeah, well, we'll come around to scenery that's in a couple of sections. But, next thing is operations. Now, there are some really good things that I've already pointed out. What?
Yeah, I think operations is going to do pretty well because signals. He's got the junctions named.
Mm-hmm.
He's got
even the signals were named too, right?
Yeah, the signals are named. The junctions are named. Those are both really good things. He's got speed limit signs in. That's good.
There are speed limit signs. That's good. There are no, unfortunately, but those aren't as important.
Well, hold on. Sorry, you broke up a little bit. What did you say?
There are no track marks.
Yeah,
that I noticed.
That's my biggest problem. So we don't have a functioning industry. It's just a location where an industry would go. We don't have track marks. And the other thing is we don't have signals leading back onto the main line, which I think is problematic. That's something you should have.
You should.
You know, if I let an AI train loose on this route, I wouldn't be able to send them anywhere. I couldn't have them switch anything out. I couldn't even have them switch the industry out because there is no industry. So that brings it down for me. There are a few, he nailed the small things that people normally overlook, but the big important things aren't here. And that's problematic for me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
there's an industry, but it doesn't function.
Yeah, it's a good foundation.
It's just for looks.
It's a good foundation, so I'm gonna give him a 5. And whereas if it was the other way around, if it was like just the industry and nothing else was named, whatever, I would probably give it a 4. But because the effort went in to do the little things, which in some ways take more effort, I think I'm gonna give him a 5. I could probably drop it down if I really wanted to. Maybe I'm being too generous with that, but
I think you're being fine with it.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a good base, and I ended up coming in here and adding an industry, and that helps immensely. Now, Trackwork, I can find almost nothing wrong with this Trackwork, aside from the fact that the Y is a little taller than it is wide. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
The switches in here.
But
what were you saying, Milky?
Oh. But
even the
some Ys are like that in real life.
Yeah,
not every Y is the same.
That's true. That's true. And especially
I think the Trackwork.
Yeah.
The Trackwork is definitely.
Yeah, no.
How's the spacing on the 2-track though? See,
here's
it kind of.
Well,
you guys are breaking up hard, and that's my fault. My computer can't handle this. My issue with this, with the main line, or my issues with Trackwork are basically all on the main line. The first thing is that the tracks don't get close enough to the edge of the world. Exactly. That ended up helping, because these tracks are slightly off-center. They're not exactly where they should be. That's an issue. But I was able to fix that. So that knocks it down, and the fact that the tracks are too far from the edge also knocks it down. Because there's a huge gap here. I normally try to bring them right up to the very edge when I'm doing a module, so that, I have less track to add in the meantime. Or when I actually go to bring it in.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is that the spacing between spline points on the main line is way too big. You have your spline points here at the bridge, and then your next spline points are over here.
Oh yeah, that's too big.
So
I put spline points like maybe every 50 feet.
Yeah.
or more. Or 50 to 150 feet. I don't go for like mile-long stretches between spline points. It doesn't.
Yeah, and this is what I feel like it's the same thing as the operations. He nailed it on the small stuff, getting the switches right, getting the crossovers right, that sort of thing. And just the main line isn't quite there. It's very good, but it's not the best put together. So I think I'm going to give him a 7 for Trackwork. Actually, no, you know what? He deserves an 8, because it's it's hard to notice these kinds of things when you're just driving along.
Yeah. No, none of the curves in there. I'd give him an 8 for Trackwork because all of the curves are nice and smooth. And none of them are too sharp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is pretty sharp.
I wouldn't take a 89 through there, but 60 foot, yeah.
Yeah.
60 foot would make it easy.
Okay, now for scenery.
Scenery!
Well, we're missing grass in a lot of places.
Yeah.
We're missing grass in a lot of places. I think there's way too much ballast all over the ground.
Yeah, you can use some dirt in here.
Yeah. Some dirt or another type of grass.
Or shrubs. Definitely needs more grass. Which, if 2019 had been used, that would have been so easy.
It would have been easier. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I need a dock point in operations.
Oh.
Because this crossing is not functional.
Ooh, yeah, good eye.
Not just the fact that it doesn't have a road, because it doesn't, but
also,
there are no triggers or...
Oh wait, no, that's not...
There are no triggers or traffic stoppers or anything like that. It's just...
Oh, look, even another point, or like a little bonus point or whatever.
On that subject, one of the built-in crossings.
It's not.
It's not. Oof.
No. What were you saying, TBA?
He even added the graph power line.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we've got power lines in here. That is a nice thing to see. The trees are a little close to them, but it's nice to see them. So that's a helpful point for scenery in that regard.
Yeah, scenery is not bad. It's worse, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's a little simple.
I'd give it a 6.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, you know what? There's nothing missing. Sorry, there's no like missing chunks. You know?
Yeah.
The scenery is complete, at least. It isn't... It could use more detail, but it's complete. So I guess a 6 is fine. Maybe a 6 is generous, but... At least he paid attention to, like, in here. You know, I feel like...
like the manhole covers and the cracks in the concrete.
Also, all these crates are...
The various spots. Yeah.
Oh, wow, if he added... touch too, and I love like that.
Yeah. And then there's parked cars in the background.
You should have seen what I was doing on the Amtrak station in this town I'm building today.
You're placing individual people?
No, I placed an individual handrail around the platform.
Huh. Alright, so content. Content is a measure of, did the stuff in the route, was it easy to get? Now, there is some payware, so that's automatically a problem. Everything else almost was on the DLS. There were a handful of things that I couldn't get, and at least the road was payware. And that's the only thing that sticks out at me. But
what about those cars on the track up there, in the Y?
No, those are all from the DLS, or I already had them. Even this, I think, came with the game.
Really? Sure, I need that. I need that.
Yeah, this was on the DLS.
Alright, downloading it.
So, for content, I mean, most of the stuff was there. I think it deserves a 6. You know, it would be higher if it weren't for the payware road. That's such a silly thing to have payware.
Yeah.
Okay, now size. I think this is an excellent size for a module.
I think it's pretty good. It doesn't bite off more than it can chew, and it does chop.
Yeah, and it's enough space that you have some running room, and you have a little industry. It is...
Yeah.
I won't say it's everything I'm looking for in a module, but it's really good. In terms of size. So,
You want a big, good-sized module? I'll get to work on you.
Yeah, right. Same.
Like I said to you guys earlier, I was so tempted to bring Tolbrand into 2019, stick little ends on it, and make it a module. Just because. That'd be a huge module. But yeah, you know what? I think this is great, because it doesn't step on anybody's toes in terms of having a massive module.
Also, remember, it's the very first module.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and it's not forgettable. You know, when you go through it, you know you're going through it. It's not like driving through Rhode Island. So, for size, I'm going to give it... I can't think of anything wrong with this size, so I'm just going to give it a 10. I think it deserves it.
Yeah.
I almost never give 10s, but I think it deserves it.
A 10 for being the first module.
I am going to give it...
A good base plate to go off.
I'm going to give it another 10 in time, because it is the first module, and it got done really quickly. He went from, I'm going to build a module, to here's my module, in the span of, like, less than a week. And I'm impressed with what came out of it.
That's
just
not
in
too
terms
bad,
of that,
actually.
you know. I think that maybe it was a little bit rushed, but that is shown in the other stats. So... yeah, I'm impressed with the 10.
I don't blame him, though. I don't blame the guy. He was probably excited.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I get to do this.
Okay, stock/era. This is not going to be a high score, because there are literally 3 cars on the railroad.
Well, that's a modern reefer.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what...
Is that the...
Per Marquette, so let's say probably...
Well, okay, it's got G-style signals, so we could go either way.
Yeah, it's got G-styles, which those are fine. It's got a UP modern reefer. It's got these 2 flat cars, which are Pierre Marquette and
Also,
Chesapeake and Ohio.
It's got dispatch switches, so it's modern era.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's definitely that.
That's fun.
And you can tell by the cars and the forklift.
Oh.
And the other forklift. So. Yeah.
Content. You know what?
Stock and era. I mean, it's consistent. It's consistent, but there's not enough.
Yeah.
So I think a 4 is in order.
I would say I was thinking 5.
Yeah.
Now, I would say a 5, but half of this is stock, and there's only 3 pieces of rolling stock. There are no engines.
There's not much.
The yard is completely empty. Like,
Ew.
you should have seeded this. That's my thought. It should have been seeded.
Put some cars on display so we can see what you're going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and add a cheap or something there to...
Even if you don't have an engine hanging out, if you have,
we can tell by the cars.
Yeah, even if you have some stuff in this yard, then it's stuff to switch with. Because even if the industry doesn't work, if you have this yard full of either empties or fulls, or both, then you can come in here with a train, drop some empties, pick up some fulls, or vice versa. Right now, there's nothing here. This is supposed to be a general goods industry, and this is a flat car and a reefer. So, not really congruous. So that's why I think it's not great. Now, world points. How realistic is this? Okay.
How realistic?
Yeah, if you look at it right here, okay, it looks pretty realistic. Then you realize that this is a random goods drop-off in the middle of the woods. What's going on here?
Yeah, maybe if there was like a town thing.
Maybe there's a town just up the tracks there.
Or down the track.
Like literally maybe in the next baseboard.
Like there could be the potential for it to be like a transload facility that's like a mile out of town or something like that.
I guess, but
But
you'd want something to indicate that.
Honestly, if the industry had been a forestry, it would have made so much more sense out here right now.
Yeah. Or a mill.
I mean, look at how thick the forest is here.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, they be getting quite the amount of lumber had that been a mill.
Lumber. Milky, I'll have to show you what I've been up to today.
That was weird. So, I mean, I like it.
I do
But-
like it.
I can't give it a very good world score. At least it has a road. You know, it has a road that it has two roads actually, but you can't see either of them. There's a road that goes north to south here, and there's another road that breaks off of that, runs alongside the tracks, and then goes into the woods, right before the river. Or it follows the river a little bit and then goes off the edge of the world here. So,
Huh.
there was some thought put into this.
Okay, that's interesting. That's a little interesting.
So, I mean, I'll give him a couple of points. Yeah, I'll give him another 4.
Before.
Maybe that's generous, but it is the first module. Let's go back here. Alright, now bonus points.
Bonus points.
Bonus points. I think it's great that this is the first module.
Yeah, bonus point for the.
What the heck is this? I cannot answer that. I mean, he's using G style, so that's interesting at least. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other bonus points here. Actually, you know what? He deserves a bonus point for manually placing all of these crates.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, a bonus point for the little details.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Details.
Details.
Including
Doubles.
Okay.
including
Okay,
these
gloves.
crossbucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crossbucks,
What does
The
it say on them?
power
Hold
lines.
on. I'm trying to read them.
I think it's pine.
Oh, you can get that? Wow, that's actually impressive.
Damn it.
See,
Come on. PVR Rail, a Pioneer Valley.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's JR is built in.
Yep. That's kind of funny.
Dude, I wonder if you could reskin it to be your.
Yeah, you could. I've done it
Oh, that's great.
Dude,
with Albany West, dude.
that's really crazy.
Well, you guys think of any other bonus points?
Bonus point for I guess could we do like a diversity because he does have the river. It's not just.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess bonus
Or-
point for
or
water
special.
feature. It is a module. You know, it's nice to see these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Honestly, that's about all I got.
Yeah.
All right, let me tally these suckers up. Unless Milky, you have something.
No, I really don't.
All right, so
Have
that's a
anything
7
to
for
say.
creativity, a 4 for operations, an 8 for track work, a 6 for scenery, a 6 for content, a 10 for size, a 10 for time, a 4 for stock and era, a 4 for world, and a 4 for the bonus. That is 63. People have definitely had worse.
Yeah, people have definitely had one.
I bet.
Yeah.
You know, as for this being the first module for the Iron Horseman Modular Railroad,
You know what? I'll
Honestly-
give it an extra point. I'll give it a full stack, 64. You know where the 5th bonus point comes from? I think it's a cool name. Vocane River. I
yeah,
don't know where he got it, but I think
yeah.
it's neat. All right, so now let me show off before we end
think
this
this-
episode. Let me show off how it fits.
Yeah.
So into the Iron Horseman Modular Railroad.
Yeah, how's this work?
Could really use some water, and I'll show off what I did to make it a little bit more functional. I'm not quite there yet, but whatever. First thing you might notice is that I changed the track out. So now we're
Yes.
using Trains 2019 track for the main line and for the siding. These are two different versions because there were two different versions here, which I said I liked.
I also see a road now.
Yeah, so I did also swap this with just a regular Yarnish road and a Yarnish intersection, so that we have a road.
Yeah.
That's important. I added a multiple industry
Yes.
which converts one type of goods from to the other, a la Tolbrand, because I intend to follow that sort of convention. And
That's pretty smart.
the other thing is, of course, we are now attached to the central junction.
Hey.
So this, for those who did not tune into the stream, this is the central junction. This is the beating heart of the Iron Horse and Modular Railroad. And I decided that
That's cool, dude.
I decided that because the switches were on the other end, I would attach it on this side. And I trimmed off 2 of the tracks here because it was originally 4. I trimmed off the outer 2 and reworked these switches so that we now have these 2 tracks that lead into here, and now you can go in any of these 3 directions. Which don't have modules yet, but soon.
Should cut down all the trees in the middle and just make it one giant railfan park.
That'd be kind of funny. Yeah. I ended up using this as the base for every single other module that I did, so you can see the outline of all these grass splines in the forest.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I said, I had to straighten this out a little bit because, or rather unstraighten it because it was slightly off center, but it was close. I mean, that's really all that I did. I didn't spend too much time, I just swapped some things out, and also I had a weird glitch with the trees, and I had to replace them, but that was okay. That ended up being sorted out. And so, the signals, of course, are still here, and then this leads up to the very end, so that I can attach a module on this side, if anyone wants to be on this side. When you submit your module, you do get to pick where it goes, and if you're interested in adding a module to this ever-growing modular railroad, you can join our Discord and talk about it in the train's route building chat. That is, the link to the Discord is at the bottom of every cargo's dock from the Terminus podcast. So, if you are excited as I am, get on board, I guess.
Build those modules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is, just as an aside while we're here, these are my building blocks.
Yeah, your Tetris blocks. There's a
North, south, east, west, 4 loops which have portals,
balloon loops.
interlockings, curves, and the center junction, so that everything can be connected. No matter, if you want to be attached to Rob's module, but you have a module that's running north-south, then we can just stick one of these in there, and there you go. So, like I said, I'm excited for this.
What?
I will be doing my best to review all of the modules that come in, and I will post the reviews, not only on YouTube, but also in the document for all the modules. We have a spreadsheet to break them down. Oh, you know what? That's another bonus point. He filled out the spreadsheet. I'll give him a bonus point for that. So 65.
Yeah, that is a bonus point.
Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Zombie Train, and I'll see you next week. This is the Admiral.
Heavy.
Milky.
Signing off.